Hi, what is popping? What is going on? My name is Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today is my very first YouTube video. I feel like the universe and God and all of this has been wanting me to talk about this for quite a long time now, and I have put off or I have not been doing what I know I need to do. So I want to talk about fear and how it's time to live fully authentically yourself and live in alignment with what you know you need to do. And for the longest time, I didn't live in my truth. And for the longest time, I was scared to do so. I had my spiritual awakening back in 2020, and it was a psychedelic spiritual awakening. So I did shrooms, and the moment I did it, it was almost like a literal spiritual download. Like, I understood it. Yeah, I would read books on spiritual awakenings, and I always kind of wondered what it would be. And I kind of dived deep a little bit into the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and all that, which I don't believe they're conspiracy theories. But yeah, I've dived into the rabbit hole of that, so I kind of dived into the aspect of a spiritual awakening, and then I could never understand it because I didn't have one. And then when I did shrooms, for the second time, it was almost like a download. Like, I understood it immediately. I couldn't explain it. You can't really explain it with words, but it just kind of happens to you. There's a domino effect from there where that's where the healing begins of your traumas and the things that you've went through, etc., etc. So after my spiritual awakening, I have completely changed as an individual. All of my likes ended up changing. All of the things that I was into ended up changing. The people I hung around changed. It was hard because I was living in the same life physically, but it felt like I was in a completely different life mentally and emotionally. Like, the things that I used to care about, I no longer cared about. And obviously, being around the same people and the same environment, it's hard to change as a person when everyone expects you to be a certain way. Or maybe that was even my own pressures that I put on myself, was that I had to be a certain way in order for people to love me. And I had to be a certain way in order for people to accept who I was. And that certain way was my old self, the self before the spiritual awakening. So for years, from 2020 to 2024, mix of 2025, because I'm starting to do this recently, I would catch myself talking about the amazing, beautiful experiences that I had on these psychedelics, or just the synchronicities that have happened in my every single day life, where I can't even question God and the universe and divine alignment anymore, because it's literally happening so perfectly. And the best way to describe it is the movie Interstellar, where you may not see it, but behind the scenes so much is happening to get you exactly where you know you need to go. And that's literally what's happening in my life currently, and I'm sure it's happening to a lot of people as well, but sometimes we just don't see it. And unless you're kind of tapped into the frequency, I guess you could say, that's when you start noticing these things. So I realized that these were the things that I really wanted to talk about, and these were the things that ignited me and got me really excited. So I realized that that was what my purpose was meant to do. But with that version of me dying, with me coming to complete alignment, I wouldn't say complete alignment, but me reaching towards alignment and speaking my truth, it comes with a lot of people who are not going to agree with you, and that's okay. They may not see the things that you see. They may look at life differently, and that's okay too, because that's their journey, and I can't judge their journey, you know what I mean? But with my journey, I never wanted to seem like I was cooked. I never wanted to seem like I was fried, and I think the idea was that I cared too much about what people thought of me. So I was scared to live in my truth. I was scared to talk about these things, because especially when you hear drugs or psychedelics, people think you're automatically crazy and that you don't know what you're talking about. But the truth is, I'm very, very aware of what I'm talking about, and I just feel like now is the time for me to speak in my truth and to step into my own power and to step into this version of me that I have become, because maybe someone else needs to hear it. Even if it's one person or two or three, it feels as though I'm meant to share my experiences and I'm meant to share my journey, my spiritual awakening journey. So I think it's time for us to just start being authentic, man. I've spent so much of my personal life trying to understand who I was and trying to find myself, that I wasn't living authentically, and now I'm finally stepping into that authenticity where it's time to start just doing what you know you need to do. And a lot of us have certain callings, whether that's painting or it's some creative expression, or maybe your calling is something else that I couldn't even imagine, but and you know what it's meant to be. and you've always had that fire inside of you, and there's that little whisper that's telling you what you know you need to do. And it's time to stop being afraid of it. Stop living in that fear. Stop living in that denial. Stop living in those low frequency emotions, because that's all you're gonna get. But once you start living in true authenticity, that is literally the highest vibration that you can be. A lot of people may not like it, because maybe that's their own personal thing where they're scared to be themselves. But it's time to share your truth. It's time to talk about what you need to talk about, do what you need to do, and be who you are. And that's kind of the start of my YouTube channel. So I guess that's just the majority of this video. People need to hear you. People need to hear your voice. People need to see what you got. People need to see your creative expression. It's time to shine, man. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stop living in fear. Start embodying who you really are and watch life unfold for you, because the moment you start living in authenticity, life is going to start unraveling in ways that you couldn't even imagine. In ways that you probably have imagined and you've been dreaming of. And it's going to happen the moment you start showing up for yourself in every single way possible, especially authentically. Talk soon. Bye.